Hey gang, so today's a sponsored video by GEEONE, and this time they've sent through a fortune cookie in ice crystal titanium sapphire. Oh, do you know how many times it took me to get that right? That is a lot to remember. Let's go for some shorter names, guys. Now, you may remember I have actually reviewed fortune cookies before, but this is in titanium. It's got a different feel to it, a different weight, so it'll actually be interesting to compare it to the stainless steel fortune cookie or the fortune cookie with the yellow lid that I reviewed before. Now, there is something extra on this that they have sent though. If you're into beads, the 42 Cosmo Planet Lanyard bead. Now this is in Zirc, and what's interesting is that they have also included their own custom lanyard braiding. So this is actually a service they offer. So this is actually a review of three things really. We've got the fortune cookie, we've got the Planet Lanyard bead, and we'll have a look at their braiding system and how they braid lanyards. So the fortune cookie is $179 and the bead is $89. Now you can get them together, you can get them separate. I'm reviewing everything together because that's how GEEONE actually sent it. This is all one package, but these are priced individually. And in terms of the braiding service, come on, China, spit it out. In terms of the braiding service, you have to go online and you have to kind of look at what your options are. So I'm not really sure what the cost is for the braiding service, but I think it has to do with if you buy a lanyard, if you buy something else on top of the lanyard, like with a bead. I don't know, man, but it's actually kind of cool to have this already done and sent to you. Let's have a look at this because this is a different weight than any of the other fortune cookies I've used, and this might be my favorite one yet. I think it strikes a really good balance. All right, enough talking. Let's get this under the camera and have a look. It's the fortune cookie and the Planet Lanyard bead. Let's go. Okay, here we go with the fortune cookie in ice crystal titanium sapphire. And along with it is the 42 Cosmo Planet Lanyard bead in oil slick Zirc. And just to add one more, we got custom lanyard design by GEEONE. This is a service they provide. And actually these little sort of ornaments that come with the lanyard are something that's included in the design, I believe. So this is first. Let's get the lanyard service out of the way because that's the part I know the least about. That is something that you would want to reach out to GEEONE and ask them the cost, because I think it depends on the lanyard, the length, the type of fidget you get. So really what they wanted to do is just sort of use this as kind of a way of letting people know that they do perform this service, and this is kind of the quality you can expect. Now, of course, the issue is that once this is tied on, you're not getting it off unless you want to undo all of this. So it is kind of we'll call it a semi-permanent decision. And again, like I said, it's there, but if you want to take the lanyard off, then you're kind of ruining the whole design. So that's really up to you. We can look at the bead first. So again, the bead is like 90 bucks. It is oil slick, the oil slick Zirc oil slick. And I will say, I didn't think it would be that big of a deal until I started holding it. And this is way better than the little leather strap that comes with the fortune cookie, because this sits, at least in my hand, this sits perfectly between my little finger and my ring finger. So it actually gives me something to curl onto, which is actually really nice. So then when I'm playing with the fortune cookie, right, I've got some really good leverage. So again, this does not come with the fortune cookie. This is extra, but it's a fun addition. It's one that I did not expect to enjoy, but I actually, I really kind of like it. So, okay, that's out of the way. Let's talk about the fortune cookie, because if you will remember, way back when I reviewed the stainless steel fortune cookie, and then I reviewed the Corian lid fortune cookie, and now I have the ice crystal sapphire fortune cookie, titanium. So this is kind of an interesting way to compare all of the different weights. So right off the bat, the stainless steel, way too heavy. It's not enjoyable in the sense that it always feels like it's going to fall off to me. And if you had followed my original video, which hold on, let's go up here. If you had followed my original video, you might remember that I tried to use this without the little white, this little Teflon piece. And the problem is that it creates a lip. And the way these work is these are balls, and the balls stick out from the lid. So if I'm kind of doing this correctly, and I know focus might be kind of an issue, but now this is a little tricky because of lighting. You can see that the ball actually protrudes from the hole. So when this was missing, the ball would catch on this edge and start scraping. And then what that did is that ended up scraping all the balls. And the biggest problem with that is that each of these balls, if I take this little steel screwdriver, each of the balls, as you can see, are magnetic. They are magnetic balls. So what happened is that this thing, this housing, filled up with magnetic shards, tiny, tiny little, you know, really, really small fraction pieces. I don't even know if that cannot be proper grammar, but you know what I mean. Like extremely, extremely tiny slivers of magnetic metal, which was a nightmare. Eventually though, I did get replacement balls for this and cleaned everything out. It took me so long. Also, Loctite. So there was Loctite put onto this, which prevented the Teflon from slipping off. This also suffered from the Teflon constantly slipping out of this little indent. So all in all, this was not a good experience. I did not like it. Then this was sent, and again by another provider, and the Corian was great, but much lighter, almost too light, but it really made playing tricks easy. And that was okay. But now we have the Sapphire Titanium. So the titanium, I'm realizing, is kind of the perfect weight. It's not too light and it's not too heavy. So I really, really think this is actually kind of the perfect balance to the fortune cookie, is a titanium lid. Because yeah, there's just something about, you know, what you can do with it without it falling off. I feel much more confident in playing with it so that it doesn't fall off. Like this will happen every once in a while, but again, it's because I'm doing it, you know, at a weird angle because of the camera. I want the camera to see everything. But really, this is actually a perfect weight, I have to say, personally. And again, I know other people are gonna enjoy other weights and other styles and stuff, and that's great. But I find for me this works the best. Now, remember, these things also come with the other side, which has this little rocker bump on it, so you can actually turn it into a clicker. But that's really it. Now, of course, the balls, as I've said, the balls are magnetic here, and there are magnets inside, and we'll see the Teflon piece just came off because this is not attached, right? And inside, so what we have is these magnets are where the balls attach. And again, the balls are magnetic. So as I showed you earlier in the other one, the balls themselves, very strong magnets actually. So the balls roll against the circular plate here, and then these little magnets match up with magnets inside. And that's it. And really, there's not much to take apart. You can take it apart, but there's really no reason to, and I would recommend you not doing it unless you really need to. Because the balls are magnets and we've got these extra little 6 magnets inside and they're very small, it can be a little tricky to kind of manipulate. So I would just kind of not, if you don't have to. But that's it. So the Teflon plate, right, that we have here, plate just goes against inside. You can see now this is the groove I was talking about, this little edge, this little lip right in here that scrapes against the balls. So you absolutely have to use this. And I know at first some of you are not going to use it and you're going to say, it seems to work fine, it's not a problem, it feels better without the Teflon. And I agree that there is something much nicer and appealing about not having the Teflon on there. But I can tell you, it may not happen right away, but eventually you will 100% start breaking up those magnetic balls against the lip. It is not designed to be used without that little Teflon plate in place. And if it does slide out on you, just take a little bit of Loctite. Just dab a little bit of Loctite underneath and just press it down, let it sit, and then it won't come out unless you really need to. It's a very unique fidget. This probably won't appeal to everyone because it's very different, right? It's not really a slider. You're not really laddering with it or anything. It's more of like a hinge. Like you push it up and you let it fall. That's really, and then you can do this middle setting where you just kind of let it spin. This is a very unique haptic feel compared to all the other sliders out there. Again, because this is not something you're laddering, right? Like there's nothing you can do. Once you get it up to its top position, you just let it fall. Now, I've seen people do some wacky tricks with it, and they can kind of like flip it, you know, with their finger, they can flip it over. As you can see, I don't do that, at least not well. But it can, you can train yourself to use it that way. I just always kind of sit and I just sort of mindlessly let it spin. And I will say it feels good. This move in particular feels really fun because it's got enough of a, like this little bounce when it spins around that there's a little bit of kind of like a springy feel to it. So that actually is great. And you can also just kind of, if you go up 1, it's easy to push down. If you go up 2, it gets hard because it immediately rotates. So it's hard to kind of grab it at the top. You can do it as long as you cup it like this in your fingers. But you can just kind of do a single click on it if you want. Really, there's not much else to talk about. These do come typically with these leather straps that we see here. But really, this lanyard does really kind of up it. And they even chose the exact same coloring that you find inside the crystal, at least very close to like a purple and green. So that's actually a really, really nice touch. Okay, gang, that's it. So that is the fortune cookie in ice crystal titanium sapphire with the 42 Cosmo planet lanyard bead and of course, custom lanyard. All right, gang, thanks for watching.